you can kind of go into the second game feeling a bit too comfortable during the draft, and I think Four Zoomers are being very cautious of that. Just making sure they're kind of crossing all the boxes here. Because they only have 20 seconds left for this last ban before the next pick stage, and they get rid of the Enigma. So another very annoying hero on the laning stage. I guess they just don't want every lane to be dominated by those kind of heroes. As you already have the Enchantress in the safe lane. With the Earth Spirit, if they had a Viper or an Enigma, it can be very strong because you have someone a frontline for those heroes while they do their disgusting things in the laning phase. But all those heroes are going to be out now for Infamous. And for Zoomers, we'll go for a third pick Jug. So if it's not broken, you don't fix it.
Yeah, and the supports of Infamous don't really deal with the Juggernaut. Nothing to pierce through the spell immunity on the Blade Fury. Zoomers can now look for the safe lane partner of the Jug, maybe dip back into the CM. There's no room for Infamous to sort of pick that up, so Zoomers can easily go back to the Jug CM lane. Very solid lane. We saw it perform last time. And Infamous, if they were thinking about the Beastmaster, have to reconsider because we saw the Jug CM just control the Beastmaster early on. So I think they're going to have to look elsewhere for that presence down the off lane for Infamous, and we'll have to see. I mean, as you mentioned, it's still open with the Earth Spirit Enchantress. You don't really have anything specific to work with that yet. You already know the Tidehunter and Jug lanes are going to be coming out. So they can kind of adjust their draft accordingly here for Infamous, but they don't have much reserve time, so have to be careful about dipping too low here.
5 seconds for them, and they're going to go into a Razor pickup, so that's one way to just dominate the Jug. We were seeing Four Zoomers really heavily focusing on banning out heroes like this that can really just dominate lanes. And, well, unfortunately for Four Zoomers, they couldn't ban out the Razor as well. And that is going to be quite a nuisance here up against the Jug, I'm sure. Definitely nothing like a Beastmaster up against the Jug, that is. Still, Four Zoomers going back into the Crystal Maiden, feeling confident regardless of the Razor. Of course, spin damage won't really care about Static Link, so you can still kind of abuse the, the slows and the spin with the Jug CM combo. Just have to be a little bit more careful about the Razor turning back around with a bunch of damage. And another lane dominant hero now. They have the Monkey King out, who you can just lane in the safe lane up against the Tide if you really want. Or alternatively, you could just see who gets picked up in the mid lane for Four Zoomers and just flex it.
Yeah, you've got options here for Infamous. Razor offlane, we've seen that one work, and we've seen it also fall flat. I think you have to be careful when you go into something like Razor. You need something to compensate with teamfight. You do kind of have that with Wukong's command, but you don't have a stable way of locking these heroes into that AoE. And Zoomers just have, they have Ravage to play with, which is already amazing. So Infamous will have to watch themselves in bigger 5v5s. I think they're just going to look to, again, look for one pick off first, bring that numbers advantage in, and try to take over. We do see Zoomers. They do believe that the Monkey King might just be safe lane now to go against that Tidehunter. It's the matchup that Monkey King doesn't care too much about. Tidehunter is tanky, but tanky heroes just give you more chances to proc Jingu. So you're overall just fine there. And of course, you do have some range on the Monkey King to stay away from some of those anchor smash hits. So you can kind of pull back and still find some steady farm for the Monkey King. We'll see if they do hold out in that flex though. Infamous do not have last pick overall, so Zoomers are going to be able to read that draft and adjust accordingly. And Infamous will have to be a bit cautious with what they do end up. If they flex it too hard here in the last pick, they might end up with some really wonky lanes, and we have seen that happen to a couple of teams before.
Last pickup now, Infamous. 4 seconds reserve time. Alright, they end up going for the Weaver last pick. I've got to say, the one thing I don't really like about this draft from Infamous is they are lacking some team fight. A lot of single pick-off potential, a lot of single target control. But in terms of AoE, you've only got the Wukong's command. Maybe you could count the Magnetize from the Earth Spirit and he can get an AoE silence going, but apart from that, it is mostly single target pick-off. Now, I don't think that's necessarily going to be bad here. I think every lane is pretty sorted for Infamous Gaming. So they are looking quite dominant during the laning stage.
Ooh.
Still, 4 Zoomers will finish off with a Lina, which is a hero we don't get to see very often anymore. But that should be a mid lane Lina. I actually think it works quite nicely into everything, apart from maybe the Weaver. But even then, as long as you can lock the Weaver down for a bit, the burst potential is going to be quite nice. So, I think this one could go either way. It's just going to be about how the laning stage goes.
I honestly think Zoomers have the better draft this time around. Like, you have this Razor into Jug, which is nice. It does kind of feel like you've went all in to just counteract one hero with a Razor. He doesn't do anything else to anyone else, right? Maybe you can link the Tidehunter as well. Doesn't mean much for a Tidehunter. So the Razor's going to have to focus down on the Jug, maybe the Lina if you can gap close. Zoomers, for their part, they've got mana sustain with the CM here, so that's going to help Gunnar out already in his mid lane matchup. Lina against Monkey King here as well is pretty darn good for Lina. Monkey King can still find his farm, but Lina can just kind of spell her ass out, play with Ulse, play with Dragon Slave, and still find that steady build-up. And I think Zoomers are just looking for that same timing from game one. They have Ravage to play around with. You mentioned the lack of team fight for Infamous. That's going to be an issue in these big 5v5 clump ups. Infamous will need to play around pick-off potential. And even then, like, you compare the pick-off potential of Infamous to Zoomers. They've got Laguna and Lina. They've got Arrow and Mirana. They've got the CM to root set up for the Arrow. Zoomers have a lot of ways of also playing that run-and-gun draft. Whereas Infamous, when you have a Monkey King and Weaver, it does feel like that can be a slower draft. You need to build up in the Weaver. You need to build up in the MK. The Razor just doesn't have that big team fight presence until maybe you get an Atos out. But we don't tend to see that build for the Razor, so we'll have to wait and see what Infamous does bring out. But I think Zoomers this time are looking really solid, and you have this lane for Husky and Sammy. They made it work in game one. I don't think the Razor is going to complicate that lane all too much.
All right, well, let's find out what happens. Game number 2 for Zoomers, looking for a 2-0 victory. Of course, Infamous Gaming just looking to tie this one out 1-1 if they can. See who does manage to get their way in this game too. I think the lanes are pretty standard here for Infamous as well. Mariano, of course, on the Razor in the off lane. They are going to throw the Monkey King in the mid lane for now, and of course the Weaver in the safe lane. I do like that Lina pickup from 4 Zoomers quite a bit, because I think the MK is just not really going to be able to do anything in the laning phase. And I have noticed that with Monkey Kings, if they can't really completely dominate the lane, they do tend to fall quite far behind a lot of the time. I am wondering how this Monkey King is going to be able to deal with Alina in this laning phases. I'm sure Gunnar is going to get quite aggressive with this laner as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for Angel to deal with. You have to be careful about giving too much to Gunnar. You just have to play back, just farm your creep wave. Don't look to overextend. Watch the LSA, as Gunnar is going to have that range advantage for the stun as well. And maybe expect rotations from Michael. So this one's down to the supports more. You need to see Michael come in on the Earth Spirit. We saw him take a more passive stance on mid as his Keeper of Light, but that's down to the hero. So should expect more from Infamous to secure the mid, and that should help Angel's game out and try to prevent Gunnar from just getting every single power rune once more.
10 players compete for ultimate glory.
Bit of a trial in to get things started. That's absolutely fair. Like, when you've got a Mirana, you may as well just always try for a first blood. But Husky, he's going to run back to the fountain now and maybe go for a TP out. In fact, never mind running back to the fountain. So not going to bother even trying for a first blood with the arrow. He's going to go back with the Crystal Nova. It's like he just wants to make sure Sammy has a good start with his first wave. And I suppose that is quite important when you have this duo of Jug CM. You do want those levels up ASAP so you can start really abusing the spin and the slows as they go right now. Mariano, he's going to take a fair bit of damage, but he will steal quite a bit away from Sammy. So he will be able to just dominate the lane with these denies, at least while the static link is there with the bonus damage.
Yeah, you have to watch yourself. Once some levels come out here, you're going to care less and less for the static link as the Jug when you're not farming, and you should be able to secure that kill, especially once you get the Frostbite up on Husky. So You have to watch those initial levels. You already have Michael going for a pull, just wanting to get that steady XP and balancing this lane. So that is one way for Infamous to kind of work that out. And that's something we weren't seeing too much in Game 1. So this should lead to a steady start for Mariano. Still gives us a chance to take a peek mid. Gunnar up against Angel. Talked a bit about this at the start. You are seeing Angel get a little bit more, working that aggression well with the early boundless strike, and not really able to get too much Jingu as it is range versus melee. Gunnar falling slightly behind in terms of last hit, so that's good news for Angel, but Gunnar at level 3 has the Light Strike Array at level 2, Fury Soul at level 1, so once he gets a couple of spells off and trying to clear the wave out, he can really start to harass out the monkey.
Oh, bot lane already. Mariano dies. Sammy, he's going to try and run away from Michael. And Michael does have a roll in 5, but it's not going to be there in time. Sammy should be just fine. So first blood already occurring, but now a boulder smash roll in. Sammy, he stuck around. Alright, he didn't respect the damage of the Earth Spirit. Once that level 2 came up, Michael just happily rolling in to secure the kill. A bit of a mistake there from our Jug.
Yeah, just a bit too keen on finding the last bit of farm. You do see the power spike of the CM Jug, though. Like, they have Frostbite up on Husky. You can just freeze the Razor, spin him down, and get the damage off. So a little bit of caution has to come out here for Mariano. Although they should hit level 3 at the same time, so that should balance out the lanes a bit. Overall, 1-to-1 start. Infamous still slightly unhappy, as Sammy did get a little bit more from that exchange. But overall, you know, you're having a better time on this off lane with Mariano already. So I'd say Infamous are... You know, they've got some ways to access this lane, and they've got the early earn up, so they can be aggressive down mid as well. And you see Michael making that early rotation.
Yeah, he does need to help out Angel a little bit here, as Gunnar has been dominating the lane in terms of harass, but now Gunnar is going to go down. And props to Angel, even with the domination, with all this harassment, he was still on top of CS with the MK. So regardless of all the damage he was taking, he was still managing to secure his own farm. And while he did burn through all his regen, you've got to be happy if you're Infamous about that.
Yeah, that's what we were lacking in Game 1. You've got more presence from that pause 4 now for Michael. So it's making a lot happen for Angel. And just slowing Gunnar down like this can lead to a bit of a wonky start for Zoomers if they're not careful. So you have to watch yourself. And we'll have to see if they can commit for those power runes. Still up top, though.
Yeah, A gets taken out. A nice arrow there onto Leo as well, making sure he couldn't follow up with any damage. That's not really what you want to see when you're playing Enchantress, just dying that early on. It never feels really that good. Because he has been buying a lot of space here for Leo, who is 20-4 in terms of CS, so the Weaver's definitely having a great old time. And in fact, Leo might try to kill off Brax now. He is pretty tanky. And we'll turn around for a Gush. But it's almost like Leo's just preparing for the future kill attempt as mid lane. Michael again with the rotation, going to end up helping Angel get another kill. And this is a real big problem for 4 Zoomers. They can't allow this to keep happening to Gunnar. Otherwise, this laner just is not going to have a game at all.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Gunnar to bounce back. I mean, he can clear the jungle, although it doesn't look like they really have built any stacks. That's going to be something that you might have to consider now on the side of Zoomers. And because Husky leaves that lane, of course, that means Mariano gets to hold that off lane a bit more steady. You are still finding steady farm for Sammy, though, but considering just how much they've gotten mid, I don't think you mind too much if you're Mariano. You're slowing down Gunnar, slowing down Delina, and that's the big tempo setter for the side of 4 Zoomers. So it's Zoomers that really need to apply that pressure. We're not seeing too much movement, although A.
Yeah, A dies again. Brax gonna get rolled in on, doesn't connect, but he does get the boulder smash, and now with Leo, he'll be able to secure Chi in and secure the kill. Brax is gonna try and run, but eventually does die, and now Ocean being silenced up, and the urn is there. They get another. I think Infamous giving Michael this Earth Spirit is really paying off. He's been involved in every kill so far in this game number 2, and quite frankly, he's been setting up every kill, John.
Yeah, he's just really made his Earth Spirit work, and I love this continuous aggression out from Infamous. TP back in with A, they smoke up. Power runes are going to come up, so they're going to immediately contest and look to make a move onto Gunnar, and the supports of Zoomers are just not making that movement out. Like, we're not seeing the movement out here from Ocean, although he is down mid now to contest.
Nice positioning there from Ocean. Breaks the smoke this time, so Gunnar won't be punished. Gunnar going to be able to get a regen rune as well on the Lina, but he didn't really have a bottle at the time, so he can't really store it for now. He just has to pick it up and try to abuse the mana regen. Instead, they do make the jump onto Ocean, but he's always going to be able to leap away. But they do get some nice D-wards off, which is going to be just as good here for Infamous.
Yeah, it just makes it harder for Gunnar to hold that lane now. Always have to worry about that rotation from top. And the beautiful thing about the Weaver, right, is you can leave it alone against the tide. Leo, sure, when he Shakuchi's in, you run a risk of getting Anchor Smash, but you still find farm and they roll in.
They do roll in. It's not going to be an easy kill, but they're going to try. Arrow doesn't connect, and Brax, with the Anchor Smash, is looking a little bit too threatening as Ocean jumped in with a Starfall. Did quite a bit of damage, but not quite enough to kill anyone off. But I think killing Brax from full HP is probably not going to be that easily possible. Maybe now while he's low they could try. But instead they're going to harass down Ocean. Leo's dropping low again, but he'll time-lapse away. The question I have on my mind is, where's Michael going to go next? But it looks like he's going to head down the mid lane or the bot lane. Trying to get something done there instead.
Yeah, they're just keeping that steady presence up. Mariano's got the solo lane, so he's already 6, which is great news for the Razor. You can look to make a play with the early Eye of the Storm. Have to still be careful, but you're losing the potency now on the Frostbite Blade Fury. Yes, there is more durability in Mariano, so harder to commit. You're still finding that steady farm on Sammy, though, but have to respect this movement out. Angel's way deep in the back lines with a tree jump, and he might look for a kill.
Omni Slash though, bot lane, Mariano now being spun on. He's going to try and static link, but there's no way to survive. They'll TP in Angel, but can he make it in time to find this jug? He'll jump the right way. He does have Boundless and will connect it, a very nice Boundless strike. But Sammy is still running. Angel catches up, has the Orb of Venom. Meanwhile, Leo does kill off Husky, but a nice juke away. Sammy running now. Leo dying to Ocean, meanwhile, at the bot lane of all things. And Sammy gets away on the jug.
That is not quite how you want that to go for Infamous. You lose your own safe laner chasing down the support, and you don't even find that kill in the jug, while also losing Mariano earlier on. So Infamous maybe getting a bit too optimistic with that chase. I think the slower TP on Angel really hurt as well, as both of those cores TP'd on the bot tier 1, so the delayed timer on the Monkey costing them that kill. Probably would have been better to split the TP points out. So in Zoomers do reel back a little bit of that gold lead and start to tie themselves up. They're trying to pressure the top lane, and with Alina, you can machine gun towers quite quick.
I mean, you can. Angel is here to try and help the defense. Thing is, he doesn't have Wukong's command, but he's going to jump in with the Primal Spring. Try to get that Jingu Mastery off as the Ravage comes through. This could be really bad. Roll is there, though. Right onto Gunnar with the silence. They will make sure he can't follow up, but Sammy does get the kill onto Angel. And now Michael, also set to die, will definitely go down. A double kill out for Sammy. And they'll be able to go right back towards that top tier 1 tower and just take it down.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that they found Gunnar, but it doesn't really compensate for the fact that you lose the Monkey King in the end, and you're going to lose the tower anyway. Infamous are trying to set up for a push down bot. Leo is around there, but he doesn't have something like the early Javelin or the early Mithril Hammer to speed up that push. So it is going to be a bit slower. They're going to have to watch themselves with these objectives here.
This'll come in handy. Double damage!
Infamous, I wonder what the game plan is now from this Dire side. Like, they had such a great start with the rotations from Michael, but it has slowed down quite a bit now. And just based off the farm that they have, they may not be able to really fight that well at the moment, as Mariano going to cop another Omni Slash here on the Razor. Then they spin and they kill him. Mariano's been having a very tough day, and Sammy is not making it any easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing with a Razor. Like, the moment you throw multiple heroes onto the Razor, it just doesn't have presence, and they're constantly throwing all the heroes they have with Sammy to make that kill happen. They're getting to push up top on tier 2, shoving it quite nicely. You can see Healing Ward sustaining that wave more. And Infamous are not in position to counter push. They're grouped up mid, Maybe find Gunner.
Perhaps. Gunner. Magnetized there. Boundless connects. They're trying to take him out. He's still alive, but the Magnetized will eventually kill him. That should allow them to finally push in this mid-tier 1 tower. Problem is, Brax is going to be around with Ocean to try and slow this down. They don't have the damage for the objectives right now as Angel going to get caught out by a Frostbite, but a nice stun with the Enchanted Creep of A, and they're going to turn it right back around with the roll in from Michael, and Leo with the Sakuchi through back onto Ocean. He'll leap away, but that was his last leap charge. And Leo will eventually get the kill. In fact, they'll give it to Angel. Now they can return right back into that mid-tier 1.
Yeah, they can look to try and pressure. It's still fairly healthy. They do not have Eye of the Storm right now in Mariano, but he did pop it just to ensure that Brax is not going to go too far in. There is Ravage up in Brax though, so if he got a +1 or a +2 here, they can still look to play, but looks like he might just go for the denial.
He stuck around pretty long here, Brax. He will pop the Ravage. They're going to try. Ocean comes in with a Starfall onto Angel. He's dropped quite low. Slow them down with the Boulder Smash. Angel is going to be able to run away, and instead Michael will take the death. And they got enough damage out onto that tier 1 to allow a denial to happen. Meanwhile, Gunner, he's going to keep going with the Laguna Blade, and he even got Angel.
Oh yeah. I mean, he got one last right click off while Angel was trying to jump away, and the turnaround was there. Zoomers, they just held on. Brax was too tanky up front. Not having Wukong's meant they couldn't deny the area off. So Infamous just kind of overextending that scene, not respecting Ravage, not respecting the lower cooldown respawns, and they just kind of fall apart there.
Oh no, they missed the roll as well. Michael, he started rolling before the TP was committed by Gunner. And they didn't have it back up in time to cancel the TP. Very unfortunate. Once again, Zoom is taking a net worth lead, this time in game 2. And Infamous, with this kind of draft, you are a little bit reliant on the momentum that it does provide. And right now, they don't have any. Infamous are kind of just stuck reacting to what 4 Zoomers are doing, rather than being proactive.
Yeah, and this is going to be an issue for Infamous. You don't want to lag too far behind when you've got Razor. His presence just shoots down after some time, especially looking at the farm on Sammy. Just able to really scale up now in the jug, not taking any hits at all, even from that laning phase. So, Infamous, if they lose much more ground in this, it's going to be hard to find a farm for a Monkey and for a Weaver. You can see Angel Farm really sort of tying up with a Weaver right now, which is good news. Farm distribution for Infamous is still even, but they've lost control of their top jungle. There's some good boards here from Zoomers. They're just farming up in that area, so that is going to force Infamous to farm elsewhere. And even the triangle is tracked up. They've got some really good boards on the opposing side, and Infamous just don't have the D-wards to spot that out, so they could be in danger if Zoomers did want to force a fight.
Thing is, it looks like for now they're just happy to sit back and wait out the Ravage. Infamous might be the ones to go in first. Brax, happy to bait though. He's 5 seconds away from that Ravage, and now they pop the Moonlight Shadow. 4 Zoomers seem to know that Infamous is around. And Infamous now the ones waiting, but this could be really disastrous as Brax does run in for a second. Now Sammy will spot everyone out. They didn't put a sentry down in time. Ravage comes out now. They've killed off Mariano. Right into the Earth Spirit they go. That'll be Michael going down as well. But maybe they kill off Sammy. Angel, he's going to try. They've got him controlled up. Sammy has no way out. He should just be dead. And eventually Leo will be there as well to follow up. But on the northern side of this team fight, Michael, who just fought back, is going to die back immediately. Angel will try and chase down Husky and Gunner. Leo should be able to at least get the CM. He'll try onto the leaner now. Gunner's just going to try and go for a run. You've got Ocean around as well, but it looks like they realize they can't save him, and Ocean, I think he wanted to get to the lower ground, but he got stuck in that little corner with the TP, and well, eventually Infamous do manage to make that team fight work out in their favor, as they even go for more now. Brax still in that mid lane, gonna try for the TP, but he is not that tanky. Leo and Angel really start to hit hard now, and a great team fight is there for Infamous.
Yeah, Zoomer's mistake there was isolating Sammy. They forced the fight in two parts of that triangle. Sammy was in the lower side, in the southern end, and the rest of his teammates were in the northern end. So Sammy all alone meant that he couldn't really tank the hits from the Monkey King. He stayed into the Wukongs for a long time. They couldn't spot the Monkey King in the tree line, despite breaking up the initial Wukongs with a Ravage. So they did get punished for that. And Infamous do bounce back in. The damage coming out from Leo is actually pretty darn good. Maelstrom proccing through from the Geminade can actually do a lot of damage there, and they've got to respect that from the side of Infamous. So Zoomer's being punished just a bit. Need to find different angles in these fights. And because Brax went for this fast blink, of course, he saw how squishy he was. He needs more items up in the tide to stand in front, as if he does get focused down, he just melts. So gonna have to see if Zoomers can get that space out. They're still not too far behind, despite those losses. 2K lead still on their side. They're still finding that steady build-up, but Infamous aren't too far behind now.
Top lane A, Shadow Amulet gonna be popped. He's just gonna sit by at the top lane. Because Gunner's not gonna know he's there, as they don't have any detection around that area. Maybe just find to place a lane ward and just back off.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Interesting ward placement.
Yeah, it's a good one for spotting out some movement, I guess. If they are farming in, say, the top jungle, they still don't have control in that jungle, mind you. So it's still not the safest spot, regardless of that laning ward. At least it does give them some options, but A is kind of exposed now.
Sort of. He's gonna hang in the tree line again. They still don't have detection for him, even if they find him, unless Gunner can land a random LSA, but he's not gonna try. Meanwhile, mid lane, looks like they've made the jump in onto Brax, and Brax is taking a lot of damage out. Ravage is committed with the freezing field, however, maybe they turn this. Brax, he'll survive, and he'll even find a regen rune. Now Angel being used up at Ocean. He did not have the arrow, but it won't matter too much, as they at least kill off Mariano. In fact, Sammy, seeing all this, decides, I'm just going to start a Roshan.
Yeah, and there's no way for Infamous to fight in there. There's no Ravage here from Zoomers, but Infamous, all they really have again is that Wukongs, and it was a bit optimistic to jump those heroes without having Leo around. They need the damage from the Weaver. That's what secured them those last few kills in that previous fight. They do scan out the Roche, but it is a bit too late. It's going to fall, and that's going to be a big boon here for the Zoomers. They find the kills, they find the Roche. They've got an Aegis up in Gunner. He doesn't need to be as worried.
They found Leo as well with that Yule Scepter. Still no Ravage up means that Infamous can try to fight. Michael rolling in. There's your Wukong's, a really nice one there from Angel, killing off Husky. Gunner, Boundless Strike gonna connect. He's gonna die. That'll be the Aegis gone. Sammy's just trying to run away as his Omni has been committed. They'll have to leave Gunner to die. He's gonna try for the TP in time, but not gonna make it. Meanwhile, Ocean jumping back in for an Enchantress kill, but is it gonna be worth his own life? Probably not. As Infamous, they just keep going. They want even more. Onto Husky again. Boundless connects. That poor CM is just going to get dive taken out. That'll be a dieback on Husky, as now they go after Sammy. But they won't dive tier 3 towers yet. That'll be enough. But what a great team fight now from Infamous.
Yeah, they're just finding the punishment out. Zoomer's still sticking around after popping Ravage was a bit optimistic.
Leo.
Leo.
Oh, they haven't got the Omni though. They can't really lock him down. Leo might just turn right back around on Sammy. Just annoy him a little bit on the jug. Take his creeps away with the Sakuchi. Very nice.
Arcane mysteries.
Mid lane. They found out Angel. Ocean doesn't have the arrow up. They have another Yule Scepter. Ocean still not arrowing. Now a roll in. Michael does pop the Magnetize. And that's it.
Yeah, you're still feeling really good here from Infamous. You took out the Aegis in the last fight, so Gunner is not going to have that safety net anymore. And the lead for Zoomers have dropped down to 1k. Sammy's still ahead of everyone else, but that's only by a marginal amount of 300 gold. Leo and Angel are starting to catch up real quick. Leo especially, starting to hit like a truck on that Weaver. Is going for the BKB next, has his Sanjin Yasha on top of that Maelstrom. So the damage output from the Weaver is starting to get really sick here. even our Monkey King, Angel, when he gets the Wukongs off, he's very hard to kill off. The magical burst from Zoomers is mainly down on Gunner. And he doesn't have a safe way of getting himself out of Wukongs. He doesn't have a Force Staff. He's saving up for a BKB, so at least he won't get controlled up. But every single time Infamous has this spell up on Angel, they're going to be looking to force the fights while they can. The Zoomers need to play around with their Ravage. They've got the Blink up. They do smoke up, and they have Ravage off, so it might be time to fight here.
Might run straight into the Razor. Mariano. In fact, never
No,
mind.
Leo.
Ravage committed in the backside. They got Leo, but he's going to be able to time-lapse in time. It won't matter, though. They still get the kill. Now Angel right in with the Wukong's command. That'll mean Husky's dead, but he already did his job. He'll be happy to die. Meanwhile, Mariano onto Sammy with a huge static link, but now he might just get blown up as Brax and Gunner trying to burst him down. Can't quite do it in time. And Brax, he'll be chased down now on the Tide. He'll TP away. But I can't say the same for Ocean, who can leap one more time, and he might actually get out. In fact, he does. Angel, no Boundless Strike to cancel that off. But still a great team fight again from Infamous.
Yeah, it's Zoomers. They need to use this Ravage in a bigger way. Catching out the Weaver is nice, but they had to commit a lot of spells to find that kill. So Infamous got a lot of space out for Angel to just drop the Wukongs and not care. They managed to isolate out Sammy Boy once more. He doesn't have anything defensive. So once he pops his spin, it's pretty much gone. And Infamous just capitalizing on these moments of weakness, managing to turn these trades around, drop that lead down to less than 1k. They start to pressure that bot tier 2, force out the Fortify here. So they've got an opportunity to just take a nice clean objective for themselves. And the Zoomers, because they pop Ravage, will have to wait for that to be back up. Not too long, about a minute more. So they can try to just play around at next timing here, but we need to see some of these items come out. We need to see the BKB from Gunner come into play, so you can just stand there and not care about the control. And the Ags for Sammy is going to help him have more presence. He's 2 parts away from it, so it's not too bad, but there's a lot of downtime here that Infamous could abuse.
Husky. Boundless Strike going to connect from Angel. A nice, easy Crystal Maiden kill. Rest of 4 Zoomers just going to run across the map and try to avoid this team fight. Apart from Brax, of course, who is going to try and hold the tier 2 tower. It's not really a tower he can hold by himself any longer. Instead, you already see the push out from Gunner up that top lane to try and force back Infamous. And it should work out. The only thing is, Infamous do want a full-on team fight. And they're going to run straight into Sammy, who really doesn't want to die like this. Trying to work towards that Aghanim Scepter, and he's going to go for the TP out. He'll be fine, but I can't say the same for Gunner. He's in the Wukong's command. The roll is there. Michael dusting up just in case. Gunner is definitely going to die here, surely. Except they purged off the dust, but the roll is on point, Michael. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it was a bit cheeky. Not quite enough, and they do find a really nice kill. They did have to pop Wukongs for that, but it's not a massively long cooldown on Angel anymore, just about 90 seconds, so just a minute until it's back up. You do have Ravage up on Brax here for the side of Zoomers, but without Gunner, you're probably not going to be looking for angles. They will just have to wait out. Sammy's so close to the Ags, 600 gold away. Just maybe wait that out and see if that helps the cause enough. The side of Infamous, though, they're feeling confident now. They're just going around, picking up the bounties, rolling in, and they do have some decent play in the triangle if they want.
Roll in Ocean. Oh, they missed the silence there. Infamous have so many objectives they can take at the moment. At least at the top lane. Roshan, we'll find out in about a minute and a half when that is going to spawn up. They do have control over that area as well. Leo, meanwhile, going to start a bit of a fight by himself down to that bot lane. Brax going to try for the TP out, but the roll is going to connect from Michael. And poor old Brax will have to go down. They do at least get Sammy out. Still not great news for the Zoomers, though.
No, it's getting from bad to worse now for the side of Zoomers. They've lost their lead. The advantage is now on Infamous's end. Angel has his Basher flying in. So the spin TP might not be enough to save Sammy Boy anymore if Angel has his number. And that's just going to cause a couple of issues there. You do at least have the Force Staff out on Brack, so he can maybe save his teammates out, although...
Gunner. Static link up. Mariano can chase him down. Light Strike Ray will connect, but they got the Boundless Strike off, and Gunner just can't get away from this Razor. Another great kill out from Infamous. And they would love the Roshan to spawn now, but unfortunately they're going to have to wait another 20 seconds just to find out when it is going to come up.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be an important objective for both sides to fight for. You do have Wukong's up back on Infamous's end, but Ravage is still standing here for Brack, so could be a really potent fight for either side in that pit, unless they lose heroes one by one.
Yeah, Ocean. He's got 3 leap charges, and he does have the Moonlight Shadow. Roll in from Michael. Dust is going to be popped. He'll purge it off with the Yules. A has a Dust as well, so he'll commit. Leap onto the high ground, but I don't think he gets out of this. Surely not. That's his last leap. While that's happening, Mariano actually dies to Sammy. So even if you get the kill now, Infamous, it's not really that worth it. However, Angel at least kills off Husky as well. So now it does look a little bit better.
That's a lot of gold on Husky. 412 for the kill on the CM. I think you're going to be really happy about that, considering that you find 2 for 1. So dropping Mariano is still not ideal, but you do win out in terms of gold trade there. And it is a fast rush, fortunately for Infamous. So right into the pit. 4 Zoomers going to have to be 2 heroes down. Brack's a bit too far out, and Angel's holding them back.
That he is. BKB, Wukong's command, going after Gunner again. He's just going to walk off now, but he can almost guarantee that the Roshan is going to be safely taken by Infamous. This Weaver is starting to look like a very, very big problem. There's so much damage being pumped out. Now a secondary life on Leo. Cheese there on Angel. I think one of the big problems for Sammy right now on the Jug is, once he's used that Omni, you've got a Swift Slash, but even then, it's pretty hard to contribute to the fight after that initial Omni Slash if you are the Jug.
Yeah, it's just the issue with Jug in general. You're so constrained towards that Omni Slash. It can be really hard to time yourself around these fights with that. And you don't have enough to really maximize that Swift Slash yet. You do manage to at least find a tier 1 tower trade, but Infamous now is smoked up and might catch them at the rear.
Ocean looks like he's going to be alright. Bot lane, they may not be so safe. They have the Ravage, but they won't win the team fight with just that. This Angel does jump right in. Brax was trying to get out of there. A great silence and a boulder smash out from Michael, just controlling everyone. And Brax, they'll miss the roll, and it looks like he's going to be able to get away. A nice stun out from Brax by breaking the tree.
I think that's Michael's role. He just
Unfortunate.
broke the tree of Angel. He's the guy with the basher too, so if he wasn't stunned up, they might have found that additional kill. You're not going to be too upset there. You still find some big ones. They are trying to chase down Ocean as well.
Yeah, Leo, he's going to back off. He got arrowed. He just wants the outpost anyway. He's going to be able to get it, and I think Leo will just hold this area now to make sure that they can't take it back. In fact, he is going to chase down Ocean. But instead, Sammy's there, so why not take the bigger target? He's going to spin away, and there's no lucky bashes coming through, but no, they get it in time. He'll go for the Omni now to try and fight back, but Sammy's in massive trouble, and he's gone. Infamous now in full control of this game, number 2.
Yeah, this is tough. Sammy dying like that is a big loss for the side of Zoomers. That lead for Infamous now up at 4K. They still hold the cheese. They still hold the Aegis here if they wanted to make a play on the high ground. No outer towers left for the side of Zoomers, so that's the next set of objectives here for Infamous. They will have to watch out for the Ravage, but they've been coming in one by one.
Mariano happy to just plasma field his way in. Nice little boundless there from Angel into the guaranteed bash.
Goodbye, princess.
Godlike spree now for our Monkey King. Michael, meanwhile, did he spot Brax there for a second? It looks like he may have. They're going to try and chase them down. Gunner shows himself. Mariano, he'll pop the drums. Instead, they'll turn around for the Tide Hunter. And Brax, he does have Ravage. Can he get out? Roll up? It's not going to make it in time. A nice TP away.
Oh, but Gunner.
But he has left behind Gunner and Husky. Gunner's going to BKB, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Angel just needs one bash. He goes for the Yules and the TP away, but it's not going to be enough. The BKB wears off. And even in the Radiant base now, Leo just diving for more onto Husky. The freezing field's there, but he has the time-lapse and the Aegis up. And that'll force a buyback from Husky immediately now. The Ravage is committed, a big Ravage at that. Angel is going to jump right in to try and help out, but it looks like Sammy, with the spin, is going to be at least be able to get the Aegis. But that's about it. They've lost Husky again. That bottom Rax is not going to survive. There's just no way in hell. In fact, Sammy, he's got to be careful about this positioning. Infamous, they're just holding back for now, but there's your silence out. Balance strike as well. They will force off Sammy out of there. And Infamous, not going to go too far. They'll just go right back into the mid lane. There's no outer towers left for 4 Zoomers, so they can go for every Rax they want.
Yeah, and there's no Ravage for such a long time. Could be tricky to find that fight here.
Dallas is there. Swift Slash comes through, but now the bashes are out with the silence onto Sammy. He'll spin away. Asmafield, Mariano wanting to go for a bit more. Now the roll right back in from Michael. Who are they even aiming? It's going to be Ocean. But he does get himself out. Now Sammy back in. Has the Omni up with the Swift Slash. They should be able to at least kill A, and they do. They even got the Monkey King with the stun out. Omni Slash committed. Is it going to be enough though? Not quite. The unlucky bounce back to Leo. And now they want to turn it right back around. Leo, he's copying a lot of damage, but Angel right back in onto Gunner. Kills off the Lina, but he might die on the Monkey King. A nice boundless strike is just not going to be enough. Sammy will eventually get the kill. Now back on a Razor. They'll get the arrow out, but Mariano kills Sammy boy. And they get the silence onto the Mirana. They'll kill off Ocean. Leo wants to go for Brax. They'll get another kill onto this Tidehunter. And poor old Husky is the only one left. But he's going to die. It'll be a full team wipeout for him from Infamous. And all they can do is buy back.
Oh my god. That was a mess of a fight, but Infamous do come out in the end. They forced the buybacks in the end. Leo can just Shukuchi away with no real committal there. And all of a sudden, it's 24-40. Infamous have a 14k lead. And Zoomers now are playing on the back foot. They have a couple of moments where they can punish Infamous, but it doesn't feel like they're finding these angles anymore. They're down to, what, their last 3 set of racks. It's going to be hard to get the defense off. They need to play around with Ravage and Omni Slash timings here. Whereas for Infamous, their longest cooldown is really just Wukong's, and that's only a minute and a half to wait for. So much more uptime here for Infamous to keep forcing these fights out. They're getting their items out here as well. The Bloodthorn from Leo has been doing a ton of work. He's going into the Gleipnir next. And once he has that additional control, you're going to have more value in the Wukongs. You're going to have more damage flying through. And you're even getting the Daedalus up on Angel. So just straight up damage build on the Monkey King. Just to ensure to get the burst damage off. There's some play opportunities here. Sammy with the Blade Fury Ag Shard upgrade does hit pretty hard if you don't respect that power, and can also kind of get you a lucky bash as well if you're not careful. But just doesn't feel like it's been enough. It's a bit RNG to depend on.
Michael roll in. He has found the junk. Immediate silence out. Sammy is going to get forced off the way, but there's Angel. The spin movement speed is definitely going to make him feel pretty good as he goes back in for a Swift Slash onto A, but where's the damage output? He doesn't really have it. Now he does. Onto Leo. They've got the arrow. They've got the Weaver. They'll get the kill.
Ooh.
Infamous. Very split up, and now a Ravage comes out. They've caught even more. Brax with a great Ravage will kill off Angel and Michael. And Mariano couldn't even get started with this team fight. He just needs to run away. 4 Zoomers, even though they are quite far behind, they are not out of this game 2 yet.
No, a bit of a mistake there from Infamous. Angel jumping up from the tree line while he was seen led to an easy LSA after the Ravage, just cutting him down, keeping him stunned up for too long.
Found Mariano. Mariano going back to farm, but he was underneath the ward from the Radiant, and he will die. Another kill out for Sammy now. And they might just be able to turn this game.
Yeah, they've got big opportunities to find some objectives here. They're already setting up top. They're going to look to melt that mid-tier 2 while they're at it as well. Infamous has no buybacks. So they can buy back Mariano. They do have the Enchantress and the Earth Spirit up, but they need these bigger cores to be up. We're going to have to wait for half a minute for that to happen. And Brax can just melt these towers with 2 siege creeps.
Brax, Boulder Smash connects, but Kraken Shell kicks in. Still very slow, but they can't really kill him with just supports. Sammy, he was pushing in the mid lane, but it looks like he wants to just go for the easier top tier 3 tower. They'll be able to at least get 1 Rax before they have to back, it seems. I don't think they'll take the team fight without the Ravage up. Still Leo gonna respawn. Michael right back in with a big magnetize out with a 4-man silence. Plasma field as well, slowing everyone down as Mariano. A static link connecting on Sammy, but now a swift slash out onto Michael means the Earth Spirit will die. The buyback is immediate, but Infamous has backed.
Yeah, it was difficult. They didn't have enough dusts to keep track of that chase. They do have the gem up now. Would have been much more helpful if they had the gem on hand for the chase. So a good retreat out from Zoomers, forcing out a couple of buybacks. Infamous now kind of balancing out that lead. 3k lead still up because they did buyback, but they will smoke up. There is still some time until Ravage is back up, but not too much. Have to be careful about committing into that spell.
It is up now. I don't think Infamous got to farm any... Well, they got to farm a bit of tier 4 items, actually.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Brax's courier killed off. Pings out, they saw the Earth Spirit. Now Brax jumps right in, a big Ravage again, landing on 3, and they found the Monkey King. Angel to die, and now they even got Michael with the block on the roll there from Sammy. Oh, and this is really bad news for Infamous, John. They don't have buyback on either of those heroes. And oh, Roshan spawns up. Just as they're about to leave the pit, it spawns instantly. 4 Zoomers will happily take it.
Man, that was so bad from Infamous. Angel in the same spot, the same camp where he got stunned up last time. They have to respect the wards here from the side of Zoomers, and just that kind of misplay might cost them a lot. There's a refresh shard in Roshan. That means double Ravage coming out for Brax, potentially. And that could turn the game. Infamous. Just small mistakes like that. Not respecting the ward game here from Zoomers cost them. They need the Monkey King to get his spells off. They need the Monkey King to get the BKB off. And now they're going to be 2 heroes down. They did expend some buybacks last time as well, so they're not going to have as many up for the next defense. And this is a very awkward spot now for Infamous.
It's pretty awkward indeed, John. Back to that top Rax they go. Like Brax is going to be alright. He does get silenced up for a second. They do successfully defend. Infamous, they're not really having to do much. Just being able to sit behind their racks is enough to force the 4 Zoomers to back. Even with that Aegis Cheese and Refresher Shard up.
Shadows, take us.
I think you just wait for the Ravage to be off cooldown first, right? Because then you have a double Ravage. And that way, it's going to make it kind of impossible for Infamous to fight into this.
Yeah, it's going to make it so much harder for Infamous to approach the angles. I think Angel might have to preemptively BKB when these fights break out. He's been holding on, wanting to pop it after he gets the Wukong's off first. And again, that's costed him the last 2 fights. Every single time in that tree line, just getting stunned up. You have to respect the Lina breaking that tree. And once you're cut down, you're just pretty much dead. Zoomers, though, they are smoked up. Ravage up in 5. And be able to find that angle now if they wanted to.
Or Leo. Sakuchi right through. Zoomers just waiting for an opportunity to get a pick off, but Infamous, they aren't giving that away.
A golden thread.
I think you just have to force the high ground if you really want to fight. apart from that, of course, the top lane is going to be split pushed in here from Angel. And this should eventually force at least one back from Infamous. Excuse me, rather from four Zoomers. Sammy looks like he's ready to commit for the high ground though. So they're just going to try and force it before they have to go back and defend. Try to force back the MK instead. But now Angel hasn't backed either. He does finally TP into the fountain. And that'll be it. A bit of chip damage on the tower. They hold on to everything else. And Moonlight Shadow out now. But it was kind of obvious because Sammy was clearing a creep wave. So Infamous should know they're invis. Even Brax finding a nice DD rune. It's going to allow Gunner to have that. And with that DD, they could definitely take a tier 3 tower just from safety's range with this Lina now. It's like Sammy's going to go right back down bot. I think they just go for the same tower.
Yeah, and just try to melt it away. They've still got Aegis for about a minute and a half, so they want to make use of it while they can. If they force a fight when it expires, that could be really awkward. So just have to make that move now, take the tower out, and apply that pressure.
Oh, what an
nice
arrow. They found the Monkey King. Now the Ravage is out as well.
no.
Brax landing it perfectly. What a great arrow out from our boy Ocean. And oh, the stun out on Leo, mid-Sakuchi. He does get the time lapse off in time. It's a very awkward team fight. Refresher Shard is still there on Brax. He has another Ravage. Sammy just happily going to keep whacking away at that tier 3 tower. Ravage, oh, that one wasn't great. It missed everybody, and now the Wukong's command to turn it back around. They've got Sammy, he's got the Aegis, but will lose it. Onto Gunner they go. They want the leader dead. He'll try and fight back. Sammy gonna run right back in, but doesn't have the Omni. Will go for the Swift Slash, but it jumps towards the neutral camp. Nevertheless, Husky does die. Brax about to drop and does go down, but they'll get the dieback on Angel. The Monkey King dies again. A's trying to run away, but Gunner's just hitting so darn hard. Instead, they'll turn around for Mariano. They'll get the dieback on the Razor, and this game is looking to be quite over. As with every hero up on 4 Zoomers, they could just get the Mega Creeps up. And they've got 2 minutes without 2 cores from Infamous. It just seems like a very free Mega Creeps here for the Zoomers.
Yeah, it's just a pity that their creep wave down mid is too shoved out. In fact, all their waves are too shoved out right now. So they're not going to be able to find that angle just yet. Still no buybacks here for Infamous. Another big mistake coming out. Angel just, when his BKB fades, he can't stand in front. He has no way of just controlling, although Sammy.
Silence there, but he's got the Minotaur Horde. Very hard to know how you can defend this as Infamous. Leo was trying to creep skip a little bit, but you can only do that for so long. He'll get the healing ward of Sammy. Arrow is going to connect on the Weaver. He is stunned for a little bit, but he's going to be alright. Roll in from Michael. They'll go for the last team fight, but there goes Leo. He doesn't have buyback either, and they've also lost Michael. A's going to try and run, but the GG's already been called by Mariano. And that does mean that 4 Zoomers at least woke up on the right side of the bed today, John. They get a 2-0 victory up against Infamous. That's definitely going to raise their chances of securing themselves a nice spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, it drags the Zoomers all the way up to number 2 now, right behind Penta Ace. So they're in a really good spot in their group. Infamous, they were in that number 2 spot in a tie with SU Esports, but now I believe that does drop them for a tie for 3rd place. So rather unfortunate for Infamous. They had a couple of spikes there, but a couple of misplays. And I don't want to say it was all on Angel, but man, there was times where he jumped in a tree line, got LS8 and died twice in a row. And that really caused them a lot of momentum to shift towards 4 Zoomers. So props to the Zoomers from exploiting that sort of weakness, playing around their timings. It looked shaky for a bit, but they bounced back in. on top of their really good plays around their cooldowns, and they do get that clean 2-0 to secure themselves, for now, second place in groups.
I think you got to give a shout out to Brax. I mean, those Ravages were just huge throughout the game. And he was generally the one really punishing the Monkey King through the tree line. Of course, him and Ocean just being a real nuisance, and well, ForZoom is definitely deserving the 2-0 today. Of course, with that, John, we are going to head to a short break, but after that break, we're going to have our next series, which is going to be the side of SG Esports up against Penta Ace. And that should be a rather interesting matchup. Penta Ace, I believe, looking to be the favorites in this matchup. But regardless of that, we are going to be away for roughly 15 minutes. We'll be right back for game or series number 2 draft in hopefully just a moment. We'll see you then.